Now, the reason why you're sitting here across from me today is that you just wrapped up this roundtable with the Vietnamese Prime Minister, right? So you hosted some foreign investors looking at Vietnam as an opportunity. I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but you're the single biggest, I believe, foreign investor in this resort in Vietnam called Grand Ho Tram. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so what was this roundtable like today?
Well, as part of our investment over there, we've been involved in Vietnam for 10 years, and we've been building out this real estate project. And this is completely separate from my HC2 venture, but this is something from a legacy perspective that we continue to invest. Yes,
okay.
That's correct. And as they're interested in seeing more and opening up the markets a bit more, and they wanted an introduction to some prominent investors over here, including some different corporations. So we hosted this event, this roundtable event this morning with the Prime Minister.
Right, because he's headed to Washington after this to meet with the president.
Yes.
Okay, so what were the questions?
Well, there were a number of questions about what their plan was from a telecommunications perspective. Are they going to open up the marketplace? Are they planning on privatizing some of the SOEs, the state-owned enterprises that exist today?
Which I think the answer is yes, right?
That is correct. Yeah. Yes. It was an excellent discussion this morning, and I think they came across as very willing and able to accommodate the investor base today.
Okay, so there's always, whenever there's an opportunity to make money, of course people are going to be interested in that opportunity, right? So what gets them over the hurdle, though, Phil, from saying this looks like an interesting opportunity to actually I'm going to do what you've done, which is put some money to work there? Well,
I think it's important that people see that our project, we've been over there since 2006, that people see that they're accommodative and cooperative with foreign investment.
Okay, and what does that? But what does that mean exactly?
That means working with the government, and really, right now we've been focused on getting a locals pilot, and I think that is very key and very important to for the project to move forward in a successful manner. And I think people are really focused on that. And I think if we do get that, I think people will see, wow, there's really a level playing field, and the markets are opening up.
And is your investment in Vietnam only in this 5-star resort, or do you have others?
It is only in this resort.
Okay. Have you made money on it? I think that would be an enticement,
not
right?
Not yet.
Okay.
But it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So.
Right. Okay, so why, I guess originally, when you say 10 years ago, why Vietnam? I mean, because it really is a frontier market there.
Yes, and from an investment perspective, I try to be creative and try to generate alpha, and that's how I've always thought about my investing abilities, and where I'm looking at. It happened to be an opportunity that I thought was very unique from a pilot project and getting a gaming license in Vietnam. The population there is coming on 100 million people right now, and there's a definite interest in gaming. So we kind of looked at it years ago as one of these frontier markets to really build, hopefully, another Macau.
And it seems that way. I mean, I know you've partnered with different companies through this resort. Vietjet is one such airline, for instance. I mean, tell me, when you put your money in here, I mean, what's the end game for you, or is there an end game? I mean, what would you like to see as a benchmark for success there?
Well, I don't think there's really an end game per se. They're really allowing us to go and build out and continue building out the operation. Right now, we have one tower of 500 rooms, and building out another tower, a world-class golf course, and we're really trying to make it a family-oriented, integrated resort, and potentially build out along the entire beachfront that they've allocated to our property. So I wouldn't say there's an end game. I think that this step of locals gaming could be a very big step to bringing in partners. Foreign partners in continuing to build out the entire property.
Right, I know just in covering Asia, everyone's looking for the next Macau, right? Everyone wants to build the next Macau, whether it's in
Yes.
Vietnam or in Singapore or in Japan, wherever else. So are you looking at other areas in Asia outside of Vietnam?
No, we're not. We're very Vietnam centric. We feel like we have a very quality asset there and a tremendous opportunity. And I think it has taken a lot longer than I expected, but we're very excited about the prospects there.
Okay, so Phil, tell me a little bit about, so this is one of your quote-unquote legacy investments from Harbinger. You're now really more focused on HC2 Holdings,
Correct.
right? So how do you split your day? I mean, tell me what's your life like right now?
The bulk of my time is on the public company, the HC2 Permanent Capital Platform. I had done this once before with a company by the name of Harbinger Group, which was then renamed HRG. Which was a nice success. And I kind of looked at this vehicle as an opportunity to be to continue on with what we did at HRG and really build out a platform and take control of operating companies. And we've done a nice job with that over the last couple of years.
Right, and I noticed that I was looking through the portfolio. I mean, you've got assets in so many different industries. I mean, it's life sciences, it's telecoms, it's industrial companies. I mean, is there any kind of rhyme or reason here in the portfolio companies that you have?
No, we'll be opportunistic, and we do want to invest in companies that we think we can help from a financial engineering perspective, where there's some growth prospects, and do tack on acquisitions and really build on these various platforms. And we do have a pretty diverse portfolio right now, and it will continue getting more diverse. But I think it also gives the holding company a very good balance, and where you don't have to just focus on building your steel company. You can focus in the telecommunications area, and we've got a very exciting platform in life sciences that I think is some really interesting things that we're doing there. So
yeah, there's some pretty exciting things in that area.
Very exciting.
But life insurance is also a big part of your portfolio.
That's, we bought control, I shouldn't say control, we bought 100% of a long-term care business that's in runoff, and we bought the entire platform, and we brought some people on from a regulatory perspective to really build on that. We think that there's an opportunity there. We did that in acquiring Fidelity and Guarantee when I was at Harbinger Group, and now this is kind of an opportunity that we think presents itself in a pretty unique way in the marketplace, especially in the insurance area, where typically you're paying 1.25, 1.5 times book. We bought this at a pretty substantial discount.
Indeed, and you say yourself your stock is trading at a pretty substantial discount, right?
It's trading at a very big discount, unfortunately, but time will tell, and I think that as we prove out this model and prove out the success of some of the underlying subsidiaries, I think clearly it will catch up. It's just a matter of time. So
what's the biggest difference now between managing permanent capital, managing HC2, versus Harbinger, the hedge fund? Well,
I think it's dealing with the redemptions, and the investor community is a little bit different. And I've always been of the mindset, and when looking at some of the different investments I've had over the years, the most success I've had is buying things that have taken a long time, that you can, I don't want to say incubate, but you can help nurture and grow and fix and twist and turn. And that's tough to do in the hedge fund model. And you can do it in the private equity model, but it's still a little bit different. I think this structure gives us the flexibility that we need, and really gives us the opportunity to hopefully never have to sell any of these companies that we control. Right, because you want to fashion it kind of like a mini Berkshire Hathaway, is that right? Yeah, I mean, I think that's the ultimate goal of, and the ultimate model. And if we can get a certain percentage of the success that they've had, that's clearly what we would have liked to do, or what we would like to do. Phil, would you ever go back to, I mean, I know you still do, but would you go back to managing substantially fund capital? As they say never, but highly unlikely. I don't think it suits my abilities, and it's not really what I want to do over the long term. I've had some good success in the previous entity that we built, and now I feel like this is we've got the model kind of tweaked the right way to allow us to be flexible, but yet give us control and do what I think me and my team do best.
Does it make you think you should have done it earlier?
Yes, I mean, considering the amount of redemptions that one could look back at and see what happened. Yeah, you know, you can't second guess it though. The hedge fund structure for me was worked out very well, and it was a good platform, I think, for now this kind of second stage.
Do you think the hedge fund industry is in a permanent decline?
No, I don't, because I think there's a tremendous amount of capital out there. I think it's tougher for the smaller guys. I think the business has become much more institutionalized. I think the fee structure may have to change a bit, but there's always going to be the need for high-quality investors. There's no question about it.
When you say fee structure might have to change a bit, what do you mean?
Well, you know, do you pay 2 and 20 for a fund that matches what's happening in the S&P? I don't think.
Should any fund right now be charging 2 and 20?
Well, there's always guys that will outshine the rest of the group. You know, there has to be some flexibility, I think, going forward in that fee structure. But it's very tough for investors to look at it and say, I'm going to pay 2 and 20, but yet you're barely beating the S&P. Is that worth 2 and 20? I don't think so, but you have to think that there are people out there. There are funds out there and quality, talented people who deserve the 2 and 20.
Right. Well, you know, and speaking about the hedge fund world, you know, we just got the news this morning about Steve Cohen and how he's, you know, in anticipation of the SEC ban being lifted, he's now raising raising outside money, about $10 billion or so. Is $10 billion in this day and age? I mean, you just mentioned there's so much cash out there, right? Is that too much?
Listen, I think I don't know from Steve's. I mean, you know of Steve's abilities and capabilities. I think there's no question that he can manage that money, and it is a substantial amount. But I think his structure probably works for that type of capital. But I don't know exactly, you know, all the details behind it.
Would you ever want to go back? I mean, I know I asked this before, but would you, if you were in that position, want to be managing that much money?
No, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing, and ultimately I look at it as our market cap will hopefully get at or close to and even surpass that. That's my ultimate goal.
And Phil, I'm sure a lot of people watching this, you know, want to know just personally, you know, what have you learned? How do you feel? You know, you're near you're also as well near 5 years from the SEC ban. You know, it's about to be lifted.
Yes.
How do you feel? What have you learned?
Listen, it was a very difficult time. You know, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, but I think if I learned anything, it's putting it past me and moving forward was probably the best thing that I could have done, and I wish I would have done it sooner rather than later, as opposed to, you know, trying to fight. It was a little bit different period back then, so it was a little bit more challenging, but it was tough. There's no question about it.
Would you have done anything differently?
I would have probably looked to move on sooner rather than later.
Well, you know, and your good friend Lee Cooperman, who, you know, was just actually, I was talking with him over the weekend, you know, he settled with the SEC, and I'm just kind of curious, you know, when you saw that settlement, did you say, you know, Lee, you did the right thing there? There's
no question. I mean, Lee's a super guy. He's one of the most honorable people I've met on the street, and I was really happy to see this put behind him. He and I talked a while ago, and you know, it's very challenging, but it's nice to see that he's kind of crossing the T's and dotting the I's and just moving on.